Hi everybody, my name is Jessica Holyfield and I'm a professional dance choreographer and dance educator based out of the southeast of the United States, and we're here to take a look at MAZZEL and their track Banquet Bang. I am currently in Japan right now, so I'm excited to take a look at a J-pop group with this type of context. I'm ready to have some fun. Now, keep in mind, I do not know in what way this review will show up on the YouTube side. A lot of times I have to remove the music video and only show the dance practice, so if you see that, just know it's on Patreon for you to go and enjoy if you want to see my reaction to everything. So I'm ready, I hope you are. Let's have some fun. Make sure my volume's turned up. I could turn it down on my headphones. Okay. I wonder if the choreography is supposed to be camera sensitive and not meant to be viewed as exclusively a fixed cam. Because we're spending some prolonged times in certain directions and our focal point is also reflected to that. His tone is very distinct, whoever that is. Ba, ba, ba. Oh! Oh! Hey, hey. Ooh, 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 hey. Banquet bow. I wonder what his jacket is, because it's got an American flag on it. The US one. I'm curious how it transitions to that dance break remix sound, right? Because we just had a blackout. Okay. So that feature moment in the music video doesn't end up happening here. Oh, that does make the music video more charming. Nice. Whew. Yeah, I enjoyed that one because there's a lot of moments in here where it just makes you curious about the format of, is this made for fixed cam? I love looking at it from a fixed cam, don't get me wrong, but it just makes you more curious about what's the main intention on how it's to be shot. So I'm ready to dive in. Let's go. Okay, from the top we go. Talk through. I got it at 0.75, so we're able to see details, but not make it too slow. So the head is nice. The different directions on that is really nice too. This ping pong-like effect where you have opposition depending on the line that you're in. It did look like one of my guys is a little bit more subdued compared to everybody else in terms of the commitment to it. So it just made me curious about it. more isolated, but and I think the only reason why is because I have a mirror on the other side, but I do know the J-pop side, we're more on individual growth as dancers and each independent artist, and being able to showcase and maintain that artistry of the individual. So you're not going to have nearly as much synchronicity as the top priority in the space, which I'm absolutely fine with. So nothing crazy there, but I think part of that could be the reason why we have some of those choices or discrepancies. Not even an issue, just something that we've observed. But they like that everybody dropped. You had your hinges around. I apologize if the volume's a little bit off here. Having headphones in, and I had to mix around my streaming recording software to make sure that you guys can hear everything, but also hear me and not be too loud for the people around me because I'm not at home. So keep that in mind. So sorry if it's a little bit off, but we'll try our best here. So I like that. From there, we have a couple that stay there, rock it back. Everybody else double diagonal, where they go and they invert it in. Or they make it more of a V with way more space in that center. I like that they send it off from one side to another. Is it a Bart Simpson? Maybe not. They rock it. For this whole situation is super subtle with the hands, but you could pull a Bart Simpson-like old school party scene of things, so I like that choice. We have two of our guys mirror it out as they stick out on the outskirts, and then everybody turns. I like that banquet. What? It's nice. We have a speed change out of it, and I like that we switch off our features there. It looks really cool. The run is nice, where we roll ball to heel. We're like da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I really like that. The switches and all of that too, with the different positionings of our extremities, all looks great. We send it over to the side. I really like the hinge, I like the weight transfer of that choice, going from outside to inside. Having your feature over on stage left is great. They drop it in. Punch down is nice. They hit it back on the doom and cha. That sound is nice. Different levels, very clearly keeping your feature nice and focused. They open it up. I like that. Oh yeah. I see it. He says, oh yeah. They hit it. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Oh, that looks great. The wave. Oh, that was so freaking good in the music video. It's nice to see it nuanced here. They knee slide over to get them transition out. They're in a straight line, dropping it down. Interesting how we're choosing to get everybody in their lines. It looks like two different columns that are close together. And curious if we're going to keep that or if we're supposed to be in a straight line and it just circumstantially turned out that way. I don't know. But the pass off is fun between our two features. They speed change with this arm, subtle port de bras, arm carriage that we've heard. Now this part, so interesting. That little bam! They punch it bass, bass, bass. Nice and syncopated, right? So it's not following a predictable rhythm. And that pray is nice. They whip the arm around. You have that ooh, ooh, ooh. It looked like we were salt bang just a smidge there. I thought that was fun. Sending it back. Then they punch it in, switch the direction on those arms. Arms end up taking a regression there with the elbows. They pull it back is really nice. I like the gun to the front. A little hip thrust out of that, which is cool. Now this part, right? We don't have levels. We don't have heavy dynamics in play. So it just made me curious why it is unified for as long as it is and condensed the way that it is, because you really can't see everybody and it's obstructed. But then you have your level drop there, so there's that. They switch it there, to there. This could it be as simple as the features not looking front when they should be? Oh, okay. I understand. It may not necessarily be a camera thing as much as it's a necessity for levels, because if you notice here, my features hanging out right here, but we can barely see them. Why? Because of the individual in front of them. Very simple fix could be getting an aerial shot, right? Or if you're choosing to have a shot like this, dropping the level a little bit more so it's clear that you know who your feature is. But he did a good job with the toss up there. Now, did I catch that? Not super well in the full run through, but that's okay. I'm not perfect. I can't pick up everything. I'm not a robot either, but that's why we do reviews, and that's why we go through and pull with a fine-tooth comb so we can pick out all the good stuff. So, okay, not even a problem solved, but definitely mystery solved. There we go. I like the speed change on that, and then we end up rolling the arms, which is also really fun. that banquet bang, hit it over to the side. It looks like some of our guys are trying their absolute best to transition to where they need to go. It's just a little bit tricky to do. He says banquet bam, and then they have it nice and ready to go with the connection right here, which is cool. You have that whoo, and then the drop of the arms is cool. All that is great. Good tension. They end up taking the body, sending it up. That looks really nice. They have this whoa siren going off, and everybody's now in a column ready to go, ready to combat. So they end up sweeping the arm around with that leg. Looks great. They rock, rock, rock is nice. Good tension. Don't worry. That was really fun. Really nice boxer bounce energy there. Don't worry. We end up dropping it down. No. We end up having one of my other guys. He ends up sliding more than the other two, so it makes me have him on my radar to turn it into an inverted V. So that looked really nice. Then you have your next three. They're hanging out over on the side. Okay, so another thing that's interesting about this is their practice most likely takes place facing that mirror, right? A lot of studios that I've seen more so in Korea, you have it in the front, but then they also have another wall that has a mirror. But I'm speaking more in the agencies like Hybe or JYP just off the top. But here, I don't know, so I'm curious about that if you happen to know that information. And whenever they shoot a dance practice or you're shooting something of any kind, a lot of times they're going to face the direction where there's way more depth in the room to work with. So you can actually set your camera up and capture everything without having to worry about somebody getting cut off. Because if you have it the other way, you're really limited. And so the downside of this is you're going to be limited in the width. So you have to consolidate, which is why this kind of stuff doesn't bother me too much, because a lot of times you're going to have way more room to work with. But a good note of this is it does have them test themselves in an environment shift, because even if you're in the same room, you're not just memorizing choreography. You're going to be memorizing the environment around you, especially if you wear a similar outfit with the environment, with the dance. A lot of times you're going to subconsciously associate, and that can turn into a bit of a brain teaser whenever you either switch your outfit for a costume of some kind, you know, if it's different than what they're wearing, right, like the suits, or you have them face a different direction. That's why a lot of times you're going to see people blank out or make strange mistakes when they're put in a different environment, or they shift the environment, because your brain's recalibrating the information that it thought was memorized at that point. So that's more, remember, that's more on the psychology side of things. So go be curious about that, and it's still ever growing and ever learning, and it depends on your culture. Moving on. All of that to say that the spacing between those two formations wasn't really that big of an issue to me, because if we're not getting the full picture. So we have this clap build up happening in the back, more environmental. They've dropped the level, easy to see your feature there. Looks great. They come up, this little this shift of the heels on that is nice with the hinge. So he claps out, joins them. Then we end up having another little moment with a drop down here. New feature, he drops it in, and then they have great tension. They build it up, that whoop. And it goes bass, 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 pulls it. Nice little moment of just moving and grooving. Now I like how spaced out it is. And then I like the pat back on the heels. And I like the shoulders on this as he goes travel all the way through. How fun, right? Bam. And I like the punch down. And then we have the switch off going on with the heels there and toes. Yeah, that banquet, bam. Notice we have such different ranges. Range is how you get from A to B of a move in your timing. Your timing is different. Does it feel like a vibe? Yes. Does it feel rehearsed? Yes. Is it as rehearsed as what I'm normally used to seeing? No. Is that okay? Absolutely. I think it's great. I really like that we get to have this type of freedom to be able to do the choreography, matching the guardrails, because everybody's hitting the guardrails of how it's supposed to be done. We may not just be using the same types of textures or same type of posture as we do it. So it's going to look a little different from everybody, which goes back to the points that were made about what J-pop's priority list is with individuality for the artist. That trumps over synchronization. The drop down is nice. I hit the double on that, or the ball change on that is cool. Open it up. Banquet bang. They're down. So they're using levels for the most part to really help with showcasing features. I think that's great. There was only one time, like we observed, that was a little bit tricky to see that. Then we have the arms out and fold out, and then we bring it in, and I like the head to move over, facing a different side, and then we bring it down. Really nice. So he's low. Yeah, that little doom 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 up. That's cool. The pull in is nice. I like the bass is on that too. It's really nice. We open it up. They have that little switch down. The turnaround is nice there. Okay. So now we're all facing different directions. It's looking mirrored, where you have whoever, you know, if you're looking, this is center, and then you have an individual here on stage left facing this way. You have somebody that shares the same distance. They're facing like you're looking in a mirror. So that's cool. Here comes MAZZEL. Yep, so it's a different... no, this is back to the first course choreo, it looks like. Yep. And they go, oh, May! And they send it around. So the second course was different, which is nice. And then they switch it off. I do like the formation for this choreography more than the formation they were in before. Because I do think it's easier to see who your features are. I think that's my reason. Yeah, like look at that. Easy as day on that. It's interesting how you can see the connection, but they're all independent over there. How interesting. Normally that kind of stuff's communicated, but that was very strange how you have three that were so independent, not touching each other at all, and then the rest are all connected in the shoulders. I wonder why. Huh, okay. It just makes you curious as to why. Not that it's a problem. Okay, the drop down is nice. Good shoulders there, toss it up. And then we end up having it where you have the arms placed down with the shoulders to complement. Banquet bang. Rock it back and rock it back and back and down. And then we end up taking it with the head, and then we hit it up with the nod. La 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 la. And they drop it low. A little head there with the walk away. Cool. They toss it up. Nice. So I'm trying to think of, I haven't seen a ton of MAZZEL, but I've seen a couple of things. I like how, I don't know, it's not as brutal on the brain here like other tracks I've seen them do, but it still does showcase some really nice elements of your heavy hitter dance heavy members. You're able to still see them and see them showcase in a fun way. So I really enjoyed this. If you want to see more MAZZEL or more of the agency that they're part of, I know we've looked at Be First, and then if you just like J-pop in general, I do try to prioritize looking at J-pop every week. I've looked at Psychic Fever, Jet Boy Bangers, you know, just off the top, those things. And I am excited to continue making that more of a slow discovery, but still a discovery of different groups, what their vibes are, and then being able to celebrate growth too whenever we get to encounter a track that either deviates from what they normally do or catches you off guard in an interesting way. So you guys know me, I know you, I'm Jess, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Bye.